everyone! It's the holidays! Hi, I'm Susie Dingle, writer, garden coach, and landscape designer, bringing you information and inspiration to help you utilize, enjoy, and improve your outdoor space. During the holidays, we sure do a lot of that, don't we? And I'm in the middle of doing a porch transformation in a foresty, woodsy theme this year. I wanted to show you a little bit behind the scenes of the progress we're making on that, how we're rigging up some of the things that we're going to hang. I want to give you a little sneak peek at the ornaments that I might be using. I've got a lot of them I've collected over the years. And then also I wanted to show you the progress that I've made on our little feeding the squirrels and bird tree outside. I wanted to do it very simply, no real frills, and also so it didn't take too much time. So I'm going to be making some things, natural items for them to eat. Then I wanted to give you a peek at my holiday vase collection. I'm going to be putting some arrangements together, and that I will do in another video, as well as a snow globe, how I made a little makeshift snow globe, so you might want to look at that as well. But that's not in this video today. All right, there might be a few other little things that I've left out. I will go out to the garden and show you some of the greenery that I'm contemplating using in the bouquets this year. Some of them are native to our area, like snowberry and some juncus and salal. Thanks for hanging with me here, and this will be just a little walkthrough of where we are in our progress for the holidays. I sure want to improve the porch in front of my garden studio. It's due for a transformation, not only because of the change of the seasons, but because it's the holiday season and I want to doll this place up and make it more festive. So stay tuned if you enjoy transformations. I'm going to be using a lot of vintage items that I already have and a vintage ladder that I just picked up. I've seen a lot of that these days where you fashion sort of a Christmas tree thing out of it, and I'm going to try and do some little bit of vintage ladder magic on this kind of a dreary porch. This deck is so slippery. It is trex, but boy does it collect the slime on it. So do be careful when you're decorating on decks and make sure that you've got a nice surface that you're not going to slip on. I am a landscape designer and I am a landscape decorator, but you would not know it by this porch. So trying to be honest with you all and say this happens, I'm busy and I throw things to the side. I do try and make it look a little bit contained when I have to just throw things somewhere. But, this is a working garden. Oh my. I have so much work ahead of me. There she is, the little princess, sitting and drinking out of the tiny hole. Wouldn't want Princess to have to bend over to get her water, would we? All the old leaves from the Darmera are gone. Pond is off temporarily. There's a little issue with the pump we're diagnosing. The porch is partially cleaned off, gotten rid of the leaves, the stuff that really doesn't belong there at all, and have a few placeholders as far as furniture while I ponder what I'm going to do for the Christmas decorations. The ceiling of the garden studio is going to have something very special. We are going to be attaching this pulley system up there to the top of the rafters, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a while because it will be a permanent feature. I'll be able to use it in the future. I want to tout my husband's success on this, and I had absolute confidence because he is a Yosemite rock climber and knows his bolts, his screws. Hey, should I leave you up there for 2 days to bivvy? Dan tying off the loop.
It's good for tying a loop at the end of a rope. I wouldn't climb with this knot. I would put one more wrap on it, and that would be a double figure eight.
But this will definitely hold up my surprise that I'm going to be hanging.
Got a twist in it.
It does? Is that a bad thing?
There we go.
Okay.
It's just not pretty. There we go. That's the pretty knot.
Oh, it still would have held. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm in the studio looking through my Christmas stuff. Hauled it all out. Trying to decide what to use. Got a lot going on. Maybe this. Okay. I'm so happy to be at this phase where I'm actually looking at the accessories. My collection of celebration accessories extends to lots of non-traditional things like jewelry and purses and hats and you name it. If I think it's gonna work and make me smile and make others smile, bring them joy, it goes in the likely gonna use pile. These were from Restoration Hardware. I wanna say they were made in India. Yes, made in India. These might make it into the final design. Shatterproof. That's new to me this year. I've never purchased them before because I really don't like plastic, but for outside I thrifted some. It passed the test. Let's go check out the plants. Checking on the seedlings and some stem cuttings. All right. Here's the clerodendron. Did that in a different video on stem cuttings for geraniums. Here's the rejuvenated geranium right here. Boy, is that looking good. Here are the cuttings, stem cuttings that I did. Those are also coming along really beautifully. Some of the stems that I didn't think would take are starting to come along down in there, but they're not very vigorous. And then these are rooted suckers from the sun sugar tomato. I've got 3 of those back in there. And then here are some seedlings coming along for my winter greens, like prize choy and mizuna. I believe I have a few collards down in there. Oh, it smells so good in here, the scented geranium. This is one of my favorite plants to have, especially this time of the year. Then down below are my pots of ginger that are resting at the moment. Okay. This area here really got away from me. I've been using, I couldn't find my painter's tool, my 5-in-1, earlier. So I pulled out this angle weeder and I really liked it a lot because I could get in there. I have a separate video on this. But it is too wide for these super narrow gaps. I didn't install this deck, it came with the house, and so I would not have put these boards so close together. In this area, I have to get something more narrow. I tried this kitchen knife, and although it's okay, it actually is, it is still too thick. I tried this sickle weeder. This is a design from, I think, it's Japanese. And it worked out okay too for some things. I like that it was an angle like that or a little curve, but it was still too wide for some of the tightest spots. I have settled on this scraper putty knife. It's a big, wide expanse here, so that means I'm going to get more coverage, and I can go straight down very easily and let it clear down instead of having to scrape it up and then clean it off, although I've had to do that in a few areas. The nice thing also about this is that you can lightly, you don't want to scrape your boards, but just sort of scrape the debris to the side. You see there, that was fling. We're flinging the debris. Let's recap. Because the deck boards were so small in this area, I had to use these paint scraper or putty knife to get down in there. That worked great. Then I came along and I did a rough sweep with my wonderful cocoa palm fiber broom, and it gets into some of the crevices too. Then I came along and scrubbed with my little hand scrubber in the spots that were really bad, and then I took the hose on a strong sprayer and sprayed between the cracks, and basically just a light spray to force all the debris off the end of the deck and into the garden. Then I sprayed off the plants at the end just to clean them up a little bit, and also because I used a non-toxic, very diluted non-toxic dish soap, and I wanted to make sure that was all off. Very, very little. I didn't need much. Sorry about the poor sound quality today. My microphone isn't working very well, so I had to use the camera microphone. Hopefully this won't detract too much from the content. So with the bird tree, what I'm doing is creating some just very natural ornaments there. I put some pine cones in because I noticed that the goldfinches are eating or pecking at these pine cones anyway, so I just tuck some of those into the tree. I've also already put in some sprays of millet. I'm going to be making some little wreaths, I guess you'd call them, sort of, out of rice cake. I realize this will probably disintegrate in a few days. I hope that they'll eat it before it does disintegrate. Dehydrated mealy worms. Yum! That looks delicious. Then for the squirrels, I'll be putting some peanuts, tying some peanuts on in a very easy way. Here are some of the contenders for the holiday season for vases and flower arrangements and such. And so now I'm going to go out to the garden and see what I can find. We'll see what will work, what's out there, and then how compatible it will be with any of these containers. This is a pulmonaria, and I'm surprised the leaves are actually looking still pretty good. I might nip a few of those. Isn't that fun? Foliage of the blueberry. This is sunshine blue. That's very pretty. This is a yew. That would be very nice. And we have some silvery evergreens, manzanita with the red stem. That is an oak leaf hydrangea. This is juncus. we might use a little bit of that for some spiky, very subtle. So pretty. Calacarpa. Rosemary is quite an obvious choice. This New Zealand flax is looking pretty good. I think it could spare a few blades there. This is a flame willow. And I pruned this back in order to let some light into the vegetable area. So I might use some of this. If you haven't seen my 2 videos on the camellia, one about tea and books and the other one on how to grow this, this is Camellia sinensis. That would be a fun thing for you to watch, perhaps. This is a little bit too yellow for my liking for the this time of the year. So I'm thinking instead this bay. This camellia is beginning to bloom. I think this one is Winter Joy. Isn't that beautiful? The hummingbirds do love this. And also we have some sarcococa back here. But I'm going to leave that because I want the blooms. I want the fragrant blooms. Here's another camellia. I'd have to look up the name. It gets very big white flowers on it. Again, I don't want to cut off these buds. This blooms a little bit later. But maybe if there was a branch on the bottom. Look at those gorgeous glossy leaves. Wow. The porch makeover is coming along really well. And of course, I'll be posting it the minute it's done. And if you don't want to miss that, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because that way you will be notified when I do post that. And until the next time, I'll be dreaming of you in the garden. Bye.